Prime Minister isolated, in a place and at a moment where she badly needed some friends. At the very least here in Salzburg, Theresa May needed a helping hand from fellow leaders as she enters some treacherous domestic political waters. And yet, having talked up confidence in a deal and compromise, the UK's ally in brokering one, Council President Donald Tusk, emerged from EU leaders' private talks and applied what appeared a fatal blow to her Chequers plan to keep free-flowing trade in goods by maintaining common rules with the EU.
Everybody shared the view that while there are positive elements in the Chequers proposal, the suggested framework for economic cooperation will not work, not least because it risks undermining the single market.
In a neighbouring room, at the same time, with no-deal risks rising, the Dutch Prime Minister made this unhelpful assessment about UK preparedness.
I think we have made more preparations for a no deal than the United Kingdom has. But there are, of course, many issues to be dealt with.
As aides scramble to lower the temperature of a sweltering summit, Theresa May and Mr Tusk had just had a robust conversation. He holding back on firmly announcing the expected November special Brexit deal summit.
I've just had a frank bilateral meeting with President Tusk. He's confirmed the commitment of the other 27 member states to reaching a deal as soon as possible.
Her aides say these were the words of a defiant Prime Minister, but she looks rattled and uncomfortable, clinging to Chequers and decrying what she said was a mere negotiating ploy.
Prime Minister, it was you that said rather recently it's either my deal or no deal. As we've heard, the EU Council, having talked about this, the EU27 have said Chequers won't work. The Dutch Prime Minister just stood at that lectern and said the Netherlands is better prepared for no deal than the UK. Isn't this all starting to fall apart now?
The proposal we have put forward is the only proposal on the table that actually delivers on that long-term sustainable future by offering the free and frictionless movement of goods across borders. So if there are concerns from the European Union, let's hear what those concerns are, and let's sit down and look at those concerns.
It certainly sparked memories of her famous election claim that nothing has changed, but something here has. The problem may stem back to an early meeting this morning with the Irish leader Leo Varadkar. Irish sources briefing that the PM had told him it was impossible to get a solution to the border guarantees required by next month. The EU now making a concerted effort to get that date back on track.
Haven't the EU27, Donald Tusk, hung the Prime Minister out to dry just before her own party conference? You made it very difficult for her. Are you conscious of that?
Well, I think the Chequers proposal can input into the talks that we have about the future relationship, and they are useful input in that regard. There obviously are difficulties. It proposes to divide the single market, to have one of the four freedoms but not the other three, and I think anyone can understand why that wouldn't be acceptable to the European Union.
Isn't an accidental no deal now a very real prospect?
I think we're going to get a deal. An accidental no deal has always been a possibility, but I think we can achieve it. It's absolutely in the interests of the United Kingdom, Ireland and the European Union that we have a deal, and we're all going to work really hard to achieve that.
We will never accept a deal which will damage the European Union and its integrity, for sure. Because I do respect the sovereignty of British people, but I do respect the sovereignty of the 27 other members.
The bad cops in this Brexit negotiation, France's President Macron and his compatriot Michel Barnier, won the day here. But at what price?
This summit ended badly for the Prime Minister. The proposals over which she spent so much domestic political capital have been rejected by the very people for whom they were designed as a compromise. The negotiations could now descend into a massive game of no-deal chicken with severe economic consequences. She returns to the United Kingdom with little political cover for her plans within her own party.
So long from the city of the Sound of Music for Theresa May. Farewell and auf Wiedersehen from EU leaders to her Chequers plan, and for many in her party, it's goodbye to a Brexit deal, and perhaps her premiership too. Faisal Islam, Sky News in Salzburg.